Hey, hi, howdy, how's it going? Today I've got for you an Elder Scrolls lore video, specifically about Daggerfall this time around. These will be shorter videos that I'll eventually make into longer videos. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time as well. Now over to, me, I guess. Daggerfall, the capital of High Rock, home of the Bretons. Daggerfall, and Glenumbra as a whole, actually, have some really interesting history. And so do the Bretons. But that's for a different video. Let's go over the brief history of Glenumbra in the Elder Scrolls games really quickly. Elder Scrolls Arena, you can choose Glenumbra to start as the Bretons. Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, it takes place in Daggerfall/Glenumbra. I just said slash, that's fine. Elder Scrolls Online, you can visit Daggerfall and Glenumbra in its entirety. And so, back to its history in universe. This video will be specifically focusing on Daggerfall City, and I will be making more videos on the rest of Glenumbra, but if there's a location you'd like for me to cover, put it in the comments below and it may be the topic of the next video. Daggerfall is a large walled city on the coast of High Rock, specifically on the north side of a bay at the southernmost point of Glenumbra. Thanks, UESP. Daggerfall is essentially a fortress on a mountain, with the ocean and mountains to its backside, making it very defensible if the need arises. So we know Daggerfall is the home of the Bretons now, but it wasn't actually always. Way back in the First Era, during the Skyrim conquests, it was actually Nordic. But as the Nordics' influence dwindled, over time they lost touch with their Nordic roots and became Breton basically by assimilation, aka baby making with Bretons. The first known king, King Corsair I, actually banned Dark Elves from Daggerfall. However, that's not as bad as his successor, King Edward, who drove the Nords out of High Rock using something called the Horn of Summoning, which was reportedly buried in one of Daggerfall's extensive caves. The next ruler fact is somehow even more crazy in a way. The Dyreni hegemony, the ruling empire of Daggerfall at the time, went to war with the Elysian Order, which is kind of like going to war with the Christians, is the simplest way I can put it. There's one last thing about early Daggerfall that I want to cover. In the First Era, around 950, the people of Daggerfall sieged Orsinium, which is the Orcs' home, which while minor here was pretty major for Orsinium. Luckily, I'm working on that video as well. And now we're moving on to the Daggerfall you see in games, at least in the layout. So, in the Second Era, year 455, there was a serial killer in Daggerfall, known as the Daggerfall Devil, who claimed dozens of innocent lives during what would be, for us non-Australians, December or wintertime. He was then caught and prepared for execution, but he decided to evade execution. He would make a deal with a Daedric prince, Hermaeus Mora. He's the Daedric prince of fate and hidden knowledge. Kind of like a Cthulhu creature looking, you know? I'm gonna throw a picture up. See? He's all goopy and eyeball-y. Daggerfall was at peace for some time, trading with all of the ports across Tamriel. That is, until Emperor Durkroach, who was the Reachman Emperor that at one point became the Emperor of Cyrodiil, invaded after a lengthy siege on Wayrest that garnered no result. The Emperor had one more place to try, Daggerfall itself. The Reachmen prepared for their attack on the city. They were flanked by High King Emeric and his army of Wayrest's finest warriors. The Emperor was defeated by Emeric, and the King of Daggerfall at the time, Bergamot, and his knights were able to finish off the rest of the forces. Only 2 weeks later, the kings of High Rock banded together to form the, drumroll please, if you play ESO, you know this one. That's right, the Daggerfall Covenant. With that, we are caught up to what happens before ESO, for the most part. If you'd like the bits I left out for time, go ahead and head to the link in the description. UESP is an amazing page for anything Elder Scrolls related. That was a good take. I don't care that Creeper's meowing, I'm keeping it in. Love you guys. In the Second Era, year 582, a conspiracy was uncovered involving the Bloodthorn cult and their assassination of King Casimir. Now, this part I just spoke about is not only the end of information we have on the Second Era, more or less, it's also the questline in Elder Scrolls Online. So I'm purposefully leaving parts out, as I encourage you, if you have not, to check out Elder Scrolls Online. Even if MMOs aren't your thing, there's tons of solo content and can be played much like a regular Elder Scrolls game. So, here we go. Into the end bit. By the late Second Era, Daggerfall was recognized by the Third Empire to be the de facto capital of High Rock. During the early years of the Third Era, Daggerfall saw mostly peaceful times. There was an assassination, but nothing too major to report on. During the Imperial Simulacrum, which is a doozy on its own, probably enough for its own video, but it's basically a bunch of wars and battles to sum it up as short as possible. This was in the late Third Era. Daggerfall was a city-state, ruled by King Tristicor, who had a rivalry with Camlorn and the Imperial City. In the Third Era, year 401, it was found out by a census that Daggerfall's population was over 110,000 people. Not long after, the War of Bettany broke out between the kingdoms of Daggerfall, which, if you remember, is now a city-state, and Sentinel. The events of the war left a significant impact on not only Daggerfall, but its people as well. Daggerfall was cursed by a ghost around Third Era year 404, and because of that, was haunted and terrorized by said ghost until Third Era year 405. An agent of the Blades lifted the curse. I'm pretty sure that's when Elder Scrolls 2 takes place though, so I also encourage you to go and play that, so I'm going to leave some out intentionally as well. You can actually get a slightly more modernized version for free on Steam and on PC. On Steam. You get it on Steam. You get it. I'm not retaking that. You get it on Steam. Go on Steam. It's like fixed in Unity or something. Anyway, that's all I have on the city and eventual city-state of Daggerfall. I hope you all enjoyed watching again, and thank you to UESP for being such a great place for Elder Scrolls knowledge, and being cool on Blue Sky the couple of times we've interacted. You can find the exact page I referenced in the description. If you'd like to follow me elsewhere, you can find me on Blue Sky under montyquantum.bsky.social, or over on Twitch, twitch.tv/montyquantum. I also run the ESO Updates Blue Sky account if you prefer to follow or interact with me on there. Thank you all again for watching. If you'd like, please do all of that stuff. If you liked, just like, and yeah, alright, this is, subscribe, bye, too long, bye, 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 bye.